So, fellas, how y'all doing today, man? Listen, it's Monday, which means it's time to head to work. Which means I'm standing here and talk to y'all a little about a couple of things in particular. Let's have a conversation about bug men and the reasons why it is that I have the conversations I have with y'all about things, right? So we've been kind of sitting here putting together ideology, right, about shit. We've been sitting here trying to kind of be cartographers, if you will, of what's going on. Like you want to draw a map to understand things, right? So like when you go to a new land, you start having a new way of doing things. You kind of want a map of how stuff works, and that's kind of important in the end of the day, right? Like it's kind of like the most important thing is understanding what's going on. Like if you don't understand the world around you, you're basically lost as a whole, right? And even like the ancients, like the people who came way, 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 way before us, right, had a pretty good understanding of how the world, as it were, worked. They knew about the sun and the moon and the stars, and they understood when to plant harvest and when not to, right? They recognized storms and what to do, and they were in tune with the world, in tune with their family, in tune with the people around them, in tune with their bodies, the forest, the animals, right? They were in tune with who and what their world was. Our world today is much different. Our world today, let's be honest here, the vast majority of you don't even notice stars in the sky, right? You have no idea when the lunar cycles are, understand how the moon even like waxes and wanes. We don't understand, like the rise and fall of the sun, right? We have a general understanding, but nobody knows exactly what time it is. I mean, you got the roundabout, somewhere around 6-ish, around there, right? But we're not tied to these things. Like the world as a whole, we have divorced ourselves from it. But we've also divorced ourselves from our families and our communities. A dude named Aaron McIntyre kind of put this out about a year ago. He sat and he said basically what ended up happening, and he got this from Juvenile. Um, what ended up happening is that the state has been growing at a rapid pace. Like the idea that a king a long time ago would run what happens inside of your household is completely ridiculous, right? I mean, you had some nobles and lords who decided that, we're going to have these people be this religion, right, as a whole. But, ultimately, your religion was left up unto you, and your religion dictated itself, right? And the king would have nothing to do with these things. The king would have nothing to do with you and your wife's interactions, you and your children's interactions, right? They would never stand here and get involved in a matter of your household. As long as you paid your taxes, how you plowed your land was your business, right? How you worked was your business. How you ate was your business. But today, that's a much different thing. Today, because of the dropping of the religion, the dropping of the family, the relinquishing, as we say, Americans are allergic to responsibility. So the relinquishing of responsibility of parents and children and communities and people to each other. We've relinquished all that to the state, and we call it freedom. But it's not really freedom in the end of the day, because it's only freedom if you choose in the right direction. You can't opt for your kid not to go to school. You can't opt, if your kid chooses to be part of their program of the transgenderism, non-binary, and lettuce, gay, bacon, and tomato thing, you'll get overridden as a parent. And in the end of the day, all that anyone would really care about, and all that anyone really cares about, is if you're a good consumer and you're adding to the GDP. Because the economy is more important than the people. We've killed God and replaced it with the economy. That's kind of ridiculous, ain't it? It's a ridiculous statement, but it's true. We look at the economy in the same way that the ancients looked at the gods and looked at the hallucinating children of a cave and listened to their ramblings and made policy off of them. Because again, human beings are allergic to responsibility. And these people today do the same thing with the unseen hand ideology, right? That ultimately the economy will sort it out, or science will sort it out. But the reality is that the economy will do what's best for those who are making money. They'll create the most efficient process that it can create, right? While financially feasible to solve an issue, and try to stand here and, how do I put this? Try to end up profiting off of it. It's like this with everything in our society, whether it be the family courts, whether it be, you know, water, right? Your water supply, your energy supply, right? Your education, whatever it is, your home, your food. They're not aiming for a high quality. They're aiming for a mass-produced product that individuals will purchase, made for the least amount of money possible, while maintaining the maximum efficiency to maximize profit. What we have to understand is that what people really care about is profit. And that's it. That's all there is in the end of the day. There's nothing more, there's nothing less, it's just profit. No one cares about anything as long as you can consume. I was watching a movie last night. It's called The Wait, right? I saw it. It had Justin Long in it, guy from Waiting, Accepted, bunch of different movies, right? I like him as an actor. Always thought he was kind of funny. Sad Jewish kid, you know what I mean? And kind of, I'll be honest, he kind of looks like an Amish, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. So, like, I don't know, anyway. So, like, I was watching this movie, right? And the movie starts off where this guy, he's a lawyer for this big corporate firm that, you know what I mean, handles whatever, right? You know what I mean, big lawyer firm. And he found a way for an insurance company to not make a payout to a firefighter because he stayed on a medication, right? That made him feel not well, you know what I mean, dizzy and whatever it is, right? And they said, oh man, like, then we don't have to pay out this $4 million. And they made him a partner. But like, before he had this meeting, his buddy was like, dude, we should celebrate about you getting this meeting, right? You finding this shit out through your investigative terms as a lawyer or whatever. And we should go to this party. And in going to this party, they went out, you know what I mean, partied up. And like, he shows up with his buddy. He goes home to his wife in his house where he's watching like a 4K TV, right? And you know what I mean, like his wife don't want to fuck him. And he's miserable. You tell the guy's a miserable fuck, right? He had to go walk like a dog with a fucking sweater on him and shit. So he ends up going to this party. He ends up getting upset. He's like, hey man, listen, you know what? My wife don't want to fuck me. Yo, what are you doing? Let's go out and do something, right? So he goes out, you know what I mean, hangs out with his dude, this Turk from Scrubs, right? This guy's gonna be referred to as Turk. I think it's like Faison or something. Faison Love or some shit. I forget his fucking name. Don't matter, right? So he ends up going out with this dude, right? And they end up like fucking, like when he shows up, Turk already has two bitches lined up in the booth, right? This blonde hair, this like blonde brunette highlight looking normal waitress looking bitch, right? And then another broad who kind of looks like she's like gypsy-ish looking, right? My type of bitch, sexy. You know what I'm saying? Looks like a Southern Italian, a Greek, maybe a Romani type of broad, you know what I mean? Maybe a Native American. Same kind of look to her, right? Darker, complected, black hair, but cool. You know what I'm saying? Like down to earth, type of chick you would see at like a protest, right? Because she gives a fuck about things. She wants to care. She wants to, you know what I mean, change the world, which I understand, right? And like Turk and this fucking waitress bitch goes to get drinks, and him and the fucking gypsy broad, Justin Long, and the gypsy broad starts talking. And they're talking, and when they're talking, they're standing here, and she goes, "What do you do?" He goes, "I'm a corporate lawyer." You know what I mean? She's like, "Oh, so you know, like you help people." You know what I mean? Like, he said, "So what's that?" She's like, "Oh," he's like, "Oh, like foreclosures, insurance, all this type of shit." You know what I mean? Da, da, da. She said, "Oh, so you help kick people out of homes?" And he's like, "No, no, 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 no. That's not really what it is, right?" You know what I mean? He said, "Usually people kick themselves out of their own homes." Can't really argue with that logic, right? She's like, "Oh, really?" He goes, "Yeah, look, you shouldn't put a second mortgage on your house to buy a fucking TV, right? Regardless of how good 4K is." Yes, right? And she goes, "Are you trying to convince me or yourself?" Right? And like, I'm standing here and I'm going, okay, hang on a minute, 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 hang on a minute. Stop right there, because this is the motif of the kind of like the fucking movie. It's this idea that you should be able to like not be responsible for shit, right? And to not being responsible for shit, you should be able to like the ultimate like freedom is you being able to make all these purchases and do whatever you want to do without regard, right? To whether or not like you're doing something positive, right? Like you're looking like, yeah, you should put a second mortgage on your home, and you know what I mean, like fucking end up going bankrupt to buy a fucking TV. Like, is consumerism the end all be all? And this is the problem, right? Like these motherfuckers think consumerism is a virtue. Like that's gonna make you happy. And not like we have to understand, like 100%, that capitalism is not a virtue. It's just not. It's just a way of doing shit. Just like everything else is. It's not a negative or a positive, right? It's not like some fucking godlike thing. The economy is not some all-seeing, all-knowing being. Being a capitalist is not a fucking trait for the higher of society, for you being better than other people. That's not it. Are you a good man? Fuck how much stuff you have. I don't give a fuck if you have a car. I don't give a fuck if you have shit. What are you built like? Who are you as a person? Are you a good person? Are you a good for the human beings around you who say they love you? Who do you love? Does your good outweigh your bad? Fuck your things. You're not your khakis. This is the fucking thing, man. This is the shit. This is the deep end of the pool, son. Fuck Star Wars. Fuck goddamn fucking Star Trek. Fuck your comic books. Fuck movies. Fuck your gadgets. Are you a good man? Do you help others? Can you fucking build things? Are you in tune with the world around you? Do you give a fuck? There's bigger things. More important things than your stuff. You're gonna die. Accept it. Death comes for all of us. And money don't buy happiness. And you can't take it with you. Your home is where your family lives. It's a fucking community asset for your family. Not for you. It's not a HELOC. It's not a bank account. It's not a fucking thing. It's a fucking home. It's where your kids and your grandkids will remember what it smelled like. And when that smell hits them, they won't think of how much your house was worth. They'll think of you. And Thanksgiving dinner. And playing out back. It's a home. It's supposed to be warm and full of love. No one gives a fuck how nice it looks. Stop worrying about the shit that you have. And worry about what you do. And your relationships. And the people who you love and who love you and who you're responsible for and who are responsible for you. Because that's what matters. That's how you defeat globalism and liberalism and all this bullshit. Learn how to say, I don't need it. I'm good. Measure yourself in your abilities, your experiences, and the people around you. This is what matters. Y'all look, stop being a bug man. Tom P's Pino News. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm out.